Hello Year 8, I'm Mr. Verrills, and today I'm going to show you how to create some of the maps and graphs for your HAS geography report. Now, you've been shown how to create a flowline map on Scribble Maps, but today I'm going to show you how to create a combination graph using Flourish. Now, to create this graph today, you'll have to have access to your QLearn. So looking here, you can see your QLearn at the moment, and if you were to scroll down to the week 3 representing data, you'll see that there is a lesson here called Research Booklet Flowline Map. Just click on that one for me. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll see here what I've highlighted is your data in an Excel spreadsheet for you. It has pretty much all the data you'll need for your assessment task. So make sure you have this saved somewhere on your iPad so you can have it have easy access to it throughout the term. So once you open up this Excel spreadsheet, it's going to look something like this. Okay. So what we have here is for the Gold Coast, we have a series of data as we can see at the bottom of the Excel spreadsheet, starting off with migration between the Gold Coast area and other states and territories. We have migration by age group as well. We have population over time for the Gold Coast. We have also website links to the topography of the area, median rental payments, so link to that as well. We have residential construction over time for the Gold Coast area. And one that I've just added today is housing prices for Southport over the last 5 years. So today I'm going to show you how you could graph housing prices over the last 5 years for a particular suburb. It doesn't have to be Southport, it just has to be a suburb within the Gold Coast area. I will show you in a moment how to find that data. We're going to be graphing this, but because we're trying to prove that there is now a housing unavailability challenge on the Gold Coast, as we can see with our data here, how the prices have increased substantially over time, there must be a leading cause for that price increase. So we have to graph another variable with this housing price to show what is causing it to increase. So the other variable I'm going to be using is our population over time. So with this one, there is a number of columns here. The ones that you'll need access to is just your years, and then just the raw number as well. Okay. Now with our population over time, we can see we have between the years of 2006 all the way to 2022. However, we won't need all of those years. We're just going to be using the last 5 years. That's because we want to make it equal to our housing prices over time. And for that, we only have data over the last 5 years. So they're the two that you will need access to. What you also need to use today is Flourish. Here's the website here that you will need to use. To find this website, just go on Google and just type in Flourish. When you search that, you will see that it's this first website here. So Flourish Data Visualization and Storytelling. Essentially what this is, it's like Excel, but really easy to use, and it has a lot more features as well. So you just need to click on that one. Here it will say Get Started Now. If you click on that, for you, it's likely going to ask you to sign up. So you're just going to sign up with your school email, and then it will bring you to this page where you can click New Visualization, and here is our home page of Flourish. You can see that there are a lot of different starting points you can choose. With all these starting points, it has different types of graphs that you can create. Also, if you keep going lower, there are different maps you can create and scatter plots and so on. We're going to keep it quite simple. What we are going to use is a line and column graph. What we call this is a combination graph. So we can graph two variables, one with the line and then one with our columns. So I'll get you to click on that one. Once it loads, you will see that it already has a graph here for you. Now this data is just made up data, okay? So what we have to do you see up the top here there is a preview section and a data section. You're just going to click on the data section. You'll see that it already has data inputted in. With this data, you're just going to click on this arrow up here and you're going to clear the sheet. What this allows us to do now is to place our own data in here so we can create our graph. Now, I am not going to be using the data you're going to be using. So you're going to be using the median house price for houses in maybe Southport, like the one that's on here, and you're going to be using population over time for Gold Coast. But I can't create the assessment for you. That's for you to do. So what I'm going to do is use a similar data, but from the area I grew up in around Tweed Heads. So I have here median house price for Tweed Heads, and I have the population over time for the Tweed area. So it's essentially just like you have, it's just my data is for a different area. So I'm going to show you how to create it with my data, and then you're going to have a go yourself using your own data. Okay? So this is the Excel I'm going to be using. To start off, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy from 2022 to 2018, just the years. Okay? Because I just want the last 5 years, because my house price data only has the last 5 years. So I click that, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to go to the Flourish website. Here in my column A, I'm going to click on row number 2, and I'm going to paste in my years. Now, if you have trouble pasting it and it doesn't let you, you might just have to type it in manually. But I just paste it in there. In column B now, I am now going to put my housing prices in. So I go back. Oh, that's your one. Here we go. I go back. I find my housing prices. All I do is I just copy the values. There we go. Copy. I go to my column B. And with this one, I just simply paste it in. Now we have data here to create an x-axis. We have data for a y-axis. But when we have a combination graph, we actually have two y-axes. So I need my data for column C. With this, it's going to be my population over time. So I'm going to go back to my graph, my Excel spreadsheet, sorry. I'm going to grab the population over the last 5 years. So I'll grab that. I will copy it. And then I'm simply just going to paste it in. So now I have all the data I need. However, I'm not finished yet, because I do need to label what each of these data, what each column is representing. So that's what you do in row number 1. So for column A, it's representing the year, so I'm just going to type that in. For column B, it is representing median house price. And for column C, it's representing population of Tweed Heads. There we go. Now, what you also need to check is on the right hand side of the website. You can see here it says label/time. What this is, it's showing you what data is going to be represented on our preview screen when I click that. So it's saying it's going to show column A for the label and time. That's correct, because that is our time. For our values, it's going to show column B and C. And that is correct, because our values are in column B and C. So now I can click preview. And here we go. Now I have a graph. Now, this doesn't look too great. Our columns, as you can see, are nearly equal size, right? The reason they look like that is just because on my axes, it's going all the way to 0, right? It doesn't have to start at 0, your axes. It could start at a different number. So I'm going to change this so my axes does not start at 0. Also, what I need is I need a label for my axes. So both my y-axes need a label, so I know what those numbers represent, and I need an axis for I need a label for my x-axis, so I know what these numbers represent as well. On top of that, I also need a title to tell me what this graph overall is representing. To do all that, in the right hand column here, you can see that there are a lot of drop down menus you can click that will give you customability to this. So first I'm going to work on my left y-axis. So you can find it here. This one is just says y-axis, the one under it says y-axis right. So I click on the normal one, and here I can put in a minimum number I want to represent. So this is where you have to play around with it a little bit until you get it looking how you like it. So I might just start at, maybe I might just put 80,000 in and see what it looks like. Okay, so that looks a little bit better, but maybe still not quite what I'm after. So let's up it to 90,000. Oh, I accidentally clicked flip. Let's just unclick that. Okay, so 90,000 looks a little bit better. Cool. Alright, so now I'm happy with my axes. I just want to label them now. So here you can see that there is an axes title I can put in. So for my left hand here, it's showing our housing price. So I'm going to type housing price. In brackets, I'm going to put what type of currency. It is the dollar. So there it is. You can see that right now it shows up on the top here. I don't really want it there. I want it on the side in the middle of my axes. To do that, I just click styling. And you can see here it says position. I'm going to click side. So now it shows up on the side here. Now I also need to do the same thing and repeat the same processes for my other axes. So now I'm going to click y-axis right. I'm going to put my text in, and this one is going to be population. I'm going to click styling, and I'm going to put the position to the side. Also in the styling section is where you can change the look of the text as well. And I need to do now my x-axis, my title. It's going to be year. And that shows up there. Now, also you can see I have a legend up the top here. Now I like to represent the legend at the bottom, so I have room at the top for my title. So to change where the position of the legend is, you go to the legend section, you click on that, and if I scroll down, here it is, legend position. I can click below, so it shows up below. If I want to center it, you can see there's an alignment section, and I can click center. And that's how you do that. You can also change the size of the font as well here as well. So I can now also change my title. To do that, I click header, and I put in a title. The title needs to show, or needs to display, the two variables and the year. So I'm going to make my title median house price versus population over time in Tweed Heads, and then I'm going to put the year, so 2018 to 2022. And you can see it shows at the top. Again, I can align it to the center. There's one more thing I am missing. I am missing my source, where I got my data from, because I did not collect it myself, so I need to reference the company or the person who collected this data. To do that, I go to the footer section, and here you can put in the source name. Now, for the housing price data, it's from realestate.com.au, so I'm going to place that information in. So there's that. But my population data is from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, also known as ABS. So I have multiple sources, so you just tick multiple sources, and then I put in the Australian Bureau of Statistics as well. So I click on that, And now you can see in the bottom left hand corner, I also have my sources. And that is my graph complete. Here, this is where after you finished it, you can take some time, you can mess with the values a little bit if you want to change the slope of your line or your columns by starting at higher values or lower values. You can also change the look of the text by changing the font and size, and you can also change the colors as well. But after you've finished it, all you do is you click export, you can click download image, you just need to type a name in for the image. So with your name, you just put in the same title, and then you just click download. After you click download, here it is for you to copy it, and then you paste it into your Word document. So that's how you use Flourish, and that's how you can represent data, so multiple variables, which is what we want to do, to show the challenge of housing unavailability. Now, for you, I have placed some data about, if I can find it, housing prices for Southport. If you want to do a different suburb in the Gold Coast, I'm going to show you how to find this data really quick. On Google, you just type in median house price in, and then type your suburbs. So let's say we go Ashmore, click enter. Now you can see here the realestate.com.au. If you click on that one, it will have a graph here of median house prices over the last 5 years. You just grab the data from that, right? I was just grabbing it every time it said October of 2018 or 2019 or 2020, and I was just grabbing the number, putting in Excel or just into a table, and then that's what I was using to then create my graph using Flourish. So that's how you create a combination graph on Flourish to show your challenge of housing unavailability. Thank you for watching.